Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Before we start with our today's practice questions, a quick gentle reminder. BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS has already launched its official Telegram channel. What is that you have to do? Follow the link given in the description box or scan this QR code. This will take you to our official Telegram channel. Join the channel so that you get all the current affairs related updates. Let's get started and look into the first question. Which amongst the following statements is the best description of Project 17A? The project intends to build 6 diesel electric attack submarines of the Calvary class. The project involves the development of 7 advanced guided missile frigates. It is a project to procure a fleet of light tanks for deployment in high altitude areas in eastern Ladakh. Under the project, a series of 11 offshore patrol vehicles are being built by the Goa Shipyard Limited for the Indian Coastal Guard. Which of the statements best describes about Project 17A? The answer to this is the project involves the development of 7 advanced guided missile frigates. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to Project 17A. When we speak about Project 17A, the Nilgiri class stealth frigates is also known as Project 17A frigates. They are being built by the Garden Reach shipbuilders and engineers and Mazagon Dock shipbuilders for the Indian Navy. The Project 17A program involves development of 7 advanced guided missile frigates, of which 4 will be built by Mazagon Dock shipbuilders and the remaining 3 will be built by GRSE. The ships will be named as INS Nilgiri, Himgiri, Udaygiri, Dunagiri, Taragiri, Vindhyagiri as well as Mahendragiri after the names of hill ranges in India. The program is a follow-on of the Project 17 Shivalik class frigates. So remember, we have about 7 frigates which will be developed as part of Project 17A. The article here is speaking about Taragiri. Taragiri happens to be the third stealth frigate of the Project 17A. Earlier, as part of this program, we had the first shift of Project 17A Nilgiri, which was launched on September 28, 2019 and is expected to begin sea trials in the first half of 2024. And do remember, when we speak about such a projects, they are mostly making use of the indigenous content. So this will help in generation of employment opportunities. More than 2000 companies and MSMEs will be involved in this particular project because their products will be sourced into the production of the frigates, and at the same time 80% of the materials equipments are also being sourced from domestic vendors for the ship construction. This happens to be the significance of Project 17A. So Project 17A is about frigates and it is not to do with submarines. If you look at the statements given in this practice question, the first statement reads, the project intends to build 6 diesel electric attack submarines of the Calvary class. What is this project called as? Please put it on the comment section. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements with respect to eligibility criteria for prospective adoptive parents. A single female or male can adopt a child of any gender. The age criteria for prospective adoptive parents shall not be applicable in case of relative adoptions and adoption by step parent. Couples with 3 or more children shall not be considered for adoption under all circumstances. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 2 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu speaks about the process of adoption. We did speak about the process of adoption. What is the issue with respect to the process of adoption in our yesterday's CNA? For those of you who want to understand what is this issue all about, please look into our CNA video yesterday. Now, if we have to look at the eligibility criteria, the first eligibility criteria statement that is given here is wrong. Why? That is because a single female, that is a female, she would be able to adopt a child of any gender. So it can be a boy or it can be a girl as well. So a female, a lady can adopt a boy or a girl. So she can adopt any person of any gender. But if it is a male, he can only adopt another male, which means he can adopt a boy, he cannot adopt a girl. So the first statement is wrong. When you look into the second statement, the age criteria for prospective adoptive parents shall not be applicable in case of relative adoptions and adoption by step parent. This statement is right. What do we mean by it? Let's say, for example, there is a relative which can be a stepdad or a stepmother, or in this case it can be the brother's son or sister's son, so on and so forth. In all these cases, the age criteria does not fall into the picture. But for the rest of the other people, in case they want to adopt a child of any gender, in that case there is an age criteria that immediately steps into picture. What is this age criteria that we are speaking about? Let's say they have to adopt a child which is less than 4 years or up to 4 years. In that case, the maximum composite age of the prospective adoptive parents can only be 90 years. This basically means when you add the age of male and the female, that is the prospective parents, that should be less than 90 years. And if it is a single parent, it has to be 45 years. And if they are adopting a child between 4 to 8 years, in that case the composite age of the prospective adoptive parents should be less than 100 years. And if it is a single parent, it is 50 years. If it is above 8 and up to 18 years, then the composite age of the prospective parents can be up to 110 years. And if it is a single parent, it goes up to 55 years. This is what we mean by age, the composite age. Composite age basically means the addition of the male and the female, which is the prospective parents who are supposed to adopt that particular child. The prospective adoptive parents shall be physically, mentally and emotionally stable, financially capable, and shall not have any life-threatening medical condition. This is one of the conditions. Any prospective adoptive parents, irrespective of the marital status, whether or not he has biological son or daughter, can adopt a child subject to, that is, a single female can adopt a child of any gender. A single male shall not be eligible to adopt a girl child. This is what we discussed in the first statement. And the couples with 3 or more children shall not be considered for adoption, but there is an exception, and that is in case of special need children. It is not under all circumstances, but there is an exemption that is given to the special need children. So the third statement given in this practice question is also wrong, and the answer to this would be C, which is 2 only. Now let's look into the next practice question. Which of the following statements with respect to Serious Fraud Investigation Office are correct? If any case has been assigned by the central government to the SFIO for investigation under the Companies Act of 2013, no other investigating agencies of the central government or any state government can proceed with the investigation in such cases. SFIO does not have the powers to arrest people for violation of companies law. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is 1 only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a reference to Serious Fraud Investigation Office. Let us try and understand what are these options. First statement reads that if a case is given to SFIO, in that case, if any other institution or an authority, let's say the CBI or Enforcement Directorate or any other authority, if it is investigating it, they would not be able to investigate because you have the SFIO looking into that particular case. So the minute it is assigned to SFIO, other authorities or the institutions will not be looking into this particular case. The same is with respect to the state governments as well. You have the state governments which will have their own police force, the CCD, so on and so forth. So the minute a case is given to SFIO, this should be handed over to SFIO, and the state authorities or the central authorities will not be in a position to investigate that case. So the first statement is right. When you look into the second statement, SFIO does not have the powers to arrest people for violation of companies law. This statement is wrong. Initially, when it came into picture, they didn't have the power, but over a period of time, laws were changed and now they have the power. Section 212(8) read with companies arrest in connection with investigation by serious fraud investigation office rules of 2017 confers the SFIO with the power to arrest if it has a reason to believe that any person has been guilty of any offence punishable under sections referred to in section 212 of 6. So basically they do have the power to make arrests if they have a doubt about such a company. So what is this SFIO? Serious Fraud Investigation Office is a fraud investigation office set up to investigate corporate funds of very serious and complex nature. This was initiated and established on the recommendations of the Naresh Chandra Committee. The authorization for the SFIO is limited to investigating frauds related to company under the Companies Act. The investigation done by SFIO is considered separate from other normal investigation into the affairs of the company. So it basically coordinates with Income Tax Department and Central Bureau of Investigation for fraud investigation, and the SFIO falls under the jurisdiction of Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The SFIO is involved in major fraud probes. Now let's look into the next practice question. MAARG Portal, recently seen in news, facilitates numerous services for the companies and LLPs, starting from incorporation of a company or an LLP to a closure of a company or LLP, helps students seeking education loan, provides one-stop mentorship platform to facilitate mentorship for startups across diverse sectors, functions, stages, geographies and backgrounds, facilitates a single window solution to the farmers and stakeholders to disseminate the information about the seed. Which of the statement best describes about MAARG Portal? The answer to this is it provides one-stop mentorship platform to facilitate mentorship for the startups. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the PIB makes a reference to Setu, and Setu is indeed connected to this particular portal called as the MAARG Portal. So what is this Setu? Basically, we have number of companies which are starting up in India. There are also many startups and advanced companies which are operating in United States of America. So in a bid to connect the startups in India with the US based investors, what we have is the Setu program, and this Setu program basically stands for supporting entrepreneurs in transformation and upskilling. Setu will act as a bridge between American as well as the Indian companies. The startup will help entrepreneurs in upskilling, transforming, leveraging the success stories of Indian diaspora in the United States of America, and this Setu is supported by what is called as the startup initiative called as MAARG. What does MAARG stands for? Mentorship, Advisory Assistance, Resilience and Growth Program, which happens to be a single stop solution finder for startups in India. The portal has been developed with the idea to be accessible from every corner of the country to connect with the mentor. So a mentor will offer human intelligence in guiding the startups, and at the same time the core functions of MAARG are to improve ease of access, use artificial intelligence, schedule meetings virtually, host master classes, provide a custom dashboard of relevant information, and this was created with the intention of allowing all people from all over the country to connect with the mentors. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to writs issued by the coach in India, consider the following statements. Mandamus will not lie against a private organization unless it is entrusted with a public duty. Mandamus will not lie against a company even though it may be a government company. Any public-minded person can be a petitioner to move the court to obtain the writ of quo warranto. Which of the statements given above are correct? The answer to this is 1 and 3 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2022. So when we speak about the first and the third statement, they are right, but the second statement is incorrect. That is because mandamus can be used against a government corporation. It can be used against a company as well. So anything to do with government, that is when the picture of mandamus steps into picture. And this is a wrong statement because it says it will not lie against a company even though it may be a government company. This statement is wrong. So the answer to this would be 1 and 3 only. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is Indira Gandhi Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme. Let us try and understand what is the scheme all about. We have the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, or the MANREGA, which was initiated by the UPA government. Why? So that people could be provided jobs at the rural level. So we had one of the initiatives which was taken where people would be provided some kind of jobs and the security for the employment at the rural level, but we did not have anything at the urban level that was initiated by the central government. So we have the Rajasthan government which has taken up this initiative where it would be providing certain tools and mechanisms and job quotas for the people who are operating at the urban level. For the rural level, we have the central scheme, which is nothing but the Manrega, but at the urban level, we did not have any such scheme. So the Congress government has come up with a scheme to guarantee the jobs for the people who are residing at the urban levels. So basically, we have the Indira Gandhi Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme, which has been rolled out in Rajasthan with the objective of providing economic support to the poor and the needy families living in the cities through work to be provided on demand basis for 100 days in a year. Who are eligible to get the jobs? Those in the age group of 18 to 60 years residing within the limits of urban local bodies are eligible to demand and get employment in the identified segments. So basically, for all those between the age group of 18 to 60 will be eligible to apply for this particular job in the urban areas. Is there any income limit fixed? As of now, there is no income limit fixed, but those who are poor and those who have the destitute status, in that case, they would be given the priority. If you look into the statistics, at least 50% in each ward of urban local bodies will be given employment, and the work permitted under the scheme will be approved and executed through committees at the state, district and the local level bodies. And in case the state government feels that there is one of the municipal areas which has performed well, they would also be rewarded as well. The state government will also reward the municipal bodies for doing good work under this particular scheme. What are the categories of tasks? The first is environment protection, which will involve tree plantation at public places, maintenance of parks, watering plants on footpaths and dividers. The next is water conservation, where the task may be allotted for cleanliness and improvement of ponds, lakes and stepwells, construction, repair and cleaning of rainwater harvesting structure, and restoration of water resources. And other categories are heritage conservation, removal of encroachment and illegal boards, hoardings and banners, stopping defacement of property, and service related works. These are the different categories where they would be provided job under this particular scheme. A Jan Aadhaar card will be introduced by the state government, or its registration slip will be required for the registration. How much will they be paid? The wages will be paid at the rate of 259 a day to the unskilled laborers, 283 a day for the skilled laborers, and the mates are also the supervisors on top of the laborers will get about 271 a day. Is it an initiative something unique? Similar such initiatives have been taken up in multiple other states as well. Let's say for example, we have the Ayankali Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme in Kerala, Urban Wage Employment Initiative under Unnati in Odisha, Mukhyamantri Shramik Yojana in Jharkhand, and Mukhyamantri Yuva Swabhiman Yojana in Madhya Pradesh. So there are state governments which have already come up with such schemes and programs, and Rajasthan government has taken a model and introduced this in their own state. So this Indira Gandhi Urban Employment Guarantee Scheme is one of the schemes initiated by the Rajasthan government at the urban level so that it can provide employment opportunities to the poor and the destitute people. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.